there anyone who has not been in the German gallery before? Excellent. Of course, it is all authentic artifacts. The real V1, real V2, even the small pieces are all the real thing. And these weapons were built by forced labor in a camp called Dora. Approximately about 7,000 people were killed through the bombing and use of these weapons, and another 10,000 died building them. So an effect on literally hundreds of thousands of people directly, but the technology of these machines changed the world forever. You, in just a few moments, will be joined by a German citizen who lived only a few hundred yards from the entrance to this camp. I will ask that you not interrupt the performance in any way. However, if you are directly addressed, if you could please respond. And I'm going to let them take photographs, but I prefer no one else does until after. The performer will come back out of character to take questions and pictures.
Excuse me, please. Have you seen a woman here today? A woman about my age, with blue eyes and gray and blonde hair, about half a head shorter than me, heavy through the hips. A good, strong German woman? No, I feared you had not. She is my wife, you see. I come here often in the hopes that I will find her. Well, I see the question in your eyes. If she is my wife, you wonder, why do I not know where she is? It's a good question, sir. A fair question. It was the war, you see, the war. It separated us like so many others, but not in the usual way. No, not in the usual way at all. You look like a good man. If you will listen, I will tell you what happened, and perhaps you will tell my story to others, and these things will not happen again. This was a very special place for Ilsa and me. This was the spot where I first met my Ilsa a long time ago. She was not my Ilsa yet, and, well, I noticed her long before she noticed me. That makes you smile. Yes, I suppose that is a rather common thing, isn't it, that I should notice her first. Isn't that always the way with men and women? She was, of course, beautiful to me, and, well, my friends, my foolish friends, they did not agree. They laughed at me, but I did not care. I only saw a fresh young maiden driving her goats down the road. Well, Ilsa was a shepherd, and I noticed her because, well, it was her wrist that I noticed first. That would make you laugh. It's true. She was a shepherd, and it is the wrist that reveals a shepherd's skill. She had a wrist like no other. Hers was no dainty wrist, and she wielded it with more confidence than any man. Swift and sure. I was smitten with her at first sight, while she noticed me not at all. Now, this was in 1920, and in 1920, a smitten young man could not approach his love directly. The road to a woman's heart was through the love of her father. So I went to Herr Schmidt and presented my case. He refused me his daughter's hand, but he offered me a job. Now, I knew he was taking advantage of my plight, but I did not care, and so I found myself helping Ilsa tend her father's sheep. With stealth and cunning, I carefully wooed her through 4 seasons, avoiding announcing my feelings or intentions, lest I frighten her away. Then one day she turned to me and said, "Heinrich, I am tired of waiting. I accept your unspoken offer of love and marriage. I believe you to be a good, if somewhat simple man, and I believe you will do your best to give me a good life. We will tell my father tonight, and we will wed as soon as possible." Then she kissed me passionately. You laugh, as well you should, but it's true. She was that much smarter than me, that much wiser, and that much stronger. But I did not care. I was too overwhelmed with joy that she had seen me and decided that I would do. And so we were married, and we were as happy as a poor man could expect for many years. I adored her, and she was tolerant of my shortcomings. All would have been well with us if it had not been for the rise of the Nazis. Ilse was outraged when Hitler became Chancellor of Germany, and when disturbing new laws were passed and talk of war began, she became obsessed with the party's activities. I was not political, of course. I mean, it seemed to me, in fact, that Hitler was doing good things for the country. German heads were once again held high. Our army was strong. So what if a few undesirables were inconvenienced? It had nothing to do with me. I would do my best to be a good citizen. Besides, what could I, a poor shepherd, do about any of it anyway? When the war began, Ilse became more and more bitter with each day. She hated the Nazis and everything they stood for, and as the years of war dragged on, when I continued to make excuses, she began to turn her rage on me as often as she turned it on the Nazis. A slow and deadly poison began to spoil our love. Because of my advancing age, I was not called to serve at first, but as the war turned against my fatherland, I was. A labor camp sprung up here near my beloved and formerly peaceful home. The rumor was that a new weapon was being built here. This new weapon would win the war for Germany and ensure a lasting peace. I was proud to do my part to help make that happen. On the very spot where once I had known such happiness, I now guarded prisoners, who were in fact nothing more than slaves, even less than slaves. We were told that they were not human beings at all, but merely expendable labor, completely without value. What you see here now cannot describe the terrors that I witnessed in that place. Each day broke my heart, and each night I would return home to Ilse and see the accusation in her eyes. And each night I would ask her what I, a poor shepherd, could do about it. And each night the answer to myself was the same. Nothing. Just hold on, I would tell myself, and it will end. Ilse's love for me turned first to disappointment, and then to contempt, and finally to hatred. But despite losing the only thing that had ever mattered to me, I couldn't bring myself to betray my duty to my country. Now, the only things that remained in my life was the dark and the daily living death of this place called Dora. I believed that someday soon the war would end, my beautiful Germany would return, and God would turn Ilse's heart. But God had been driven from Germany by the Nazis. And I returned home one night to a home without Ilse. No note, no warning, no sign. It was as if those long, long days of happiness had never been. My body somehow survived the death of my spirit, and the war did end. The victorious Allies released me, I suppose because they had seen too much blood to hold the weak responsible with the cruel. So I come here to this spot, hoping to see her, hoping that she still lives, hoping that fate will return her to this spot where once upon a time we were happy. I no longer hope to retrieve her love. I only want to tell her that she was right. You will tell her for me, won't you? If you see her, a woman with a soul and a clever wrist. You will tell her for me, won't you?